Join nearly 1,400 entrepreneurs and students at the 2013 Collegiate Entrepreneurs Organization National Conference in Chicago, October 31st through November 2nd. Visit ceo.org for more information. That's c-e-o.org.
This is Michael Luchies, National Growth and Programs Manager for the Collegiate Entrepreneurs Organization. Today I'm joined with professional drummer and entrepreneur Mike Veny. Mike, thanks a lot for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're currently working on.
Well, I'm a professional drummer, and I'm also actually a mental health speaker, and I've been doing a lot of wellness stuff this year. I have drum circles that I do where I bring my drums to different organizations and do team building. And that's been really fun because it gets to give people an experience of being like a child and just acting out their emotions and bonding with each other. And it actually led me to create a workshop called Drum Up Your Feelings, which is actually a leadership development workshop. And it's been really, really fun.
So the wellness aspect of your business, how did that kind of come to fruition? I would imagine that wasn't your first instinct to branch out as an entrepreneur from your past as a drummer.
You're right. Actually, the reason I got into drumming was because I was a kid with mental health issues, and it's something I talk about publicly because it's something that needs to be talked about, and we hear about it more and more in the media with the different tragedies that have happened. And I was one of those kids who really struggled to keep it together. I was always out of control with my behavior. I was that kid that your parents didn't want you hanging out with. And it led to me being hospitalized, actually, in a psychiatric ward 3 times as a youth for, several months. And in between that, I was constantly in the emergency room because my parents did not know how to deal with me, and they tried to medicate me, and the only thing that really seemed to keep me under control was drumming. And so I became a drummer because I needed to keep wellness in my life. It wasn't like I wanted to be a rock star or anything. I just needed to keep wellness in my life. So the drumming actually helps me bond with people and keeps me pretty calm. And so I decided that I was going to expand that and give that to other people too, because, I'm not the only one who's got mental health issues in the world. So I realized that by bringing my drums in to work with different people, I've been able to give them the same experience that I get when I play.
Have you always been entrepreneurial, or is it more a product of you being an artist?
That's a great question. I think I've always been defiant. That's the one thing, I know I've always been defiant, and my parents still get frustrated with me. A classic example of my defiance with my family is I don't like to eat my mom's cooking. I love my mom, but I'm very honest with people. I told her, I said, Mommy, I love you. You're an awesome mother, but I don't like your cooking. So instead of Thanksgiving dinner, the only way I will eat dinner with my family is if we go out to a restaurant. However, it's led up to us going out to a new restaurant every year for Thanksgiving, and then we end up going to this place called Dave & Buster's, a video game place, and go out and play video games and bowl after. So Thanksgiving now has become this cool day for everybody, and even some of my friends are like, hey, can we join you? So I think that's like an example of how I'm an entrepreneur, where I completely just like to go against the grain and just try new things. And I think it's the thing that built the country that we have today. So it's kind of always been me. It been inside of me. I didn't realize it at first. I thought it was just me being, different and artistic, but I realized it's, just something inside of me.
So when you first realized that you wanted to take your drumming to the next level and create a business, what were some of the steps you had to take at that point to turn it into a reality?
That was a really, really tough question there, and that's a very long answer, I think. But I'll try to answer as best I can. For me, I remember the day when I decided. I was actually in 10th grade. It was 1995. I had a lot of hair, sideburns, and a goatee. And I just got this feeling that, drumming would be the right way to serve the world. That was the first thing. I had this very compelling belief that I could serve the world through drumming. I didn't know how, I didn't have a vision, but just this feeling. And then after that, I began seeking out the help from other professionals that were older than me, that were doing it already, some students in college. And I had a really good drum teacher who emphasized that, it's not about being an artist, it's about being a business person. Now, interestingly, when he said that to me in ninth grade, I didn't like hearing that. I just wanted to be a drummer. But, now at 34 years old, I look back and I'm very grateful that he said that to me, because it really helped me craft the career that I want. So for me, it's been a process of just constantly learning, and I say it's never really a destination that you end up at. You're always in the process of learning. One thing that I started doing back in high school that I've continued as a tradition is I read books from cover to cover. And as of late, I read one book a week. No matter how busy I am, I'm always reading a book. You can find me in an airport with my Kindle, and I'm always trying to learn. I take notes when I read. It's really, really important to me. And what I've found is that it keeps me fresh. It keeps me thinking and creating good ideas. The other thing that I like to do is I'm a big believer of getting my butt kicked, not physically. So I'm not going out in New York City looking for fights, but I actually have mentors in my life that challenge me. Just recently, a major automotive company, I will not say the name on this call because I want to protect their confidentiality, their finance team has actually been helping me work on my budget as a business. And they've been sitting with me, once every 2 weeks for an hour, going over my budget and giving me their experience, their insight into how to do that. And that's an example of how I challenge myself. It's making me very uncomfortable. It's very, very honest, but it's teaching me a lot. So that's something that I always encourage young entrepreneurs to do, is to constantly find ways to always learn and always challenge themselves and surround themselves with people that are going to really grow them. One of my friends said to me recently, he said, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." I like that one. So that's pretty much the process I think I've started with and that I continue to go through.
And what's your favorite part about what you do?
My favorite part about what I do is that when when I'm having a bad day or a good day, I can look back and say I created this, and I'm doing my own thing, and I'm not working for anybody else. And, it's interesting because, I have a lot of friends who tell me about businesses they want to start or throw ideas at me, and it's nice to hear about, and I try to be as encouraging and supportive as I can, but it's like I'm doing it. I'm doing that thing that so many people in the workforce wish they could do. It seems like a complete fantasy. And the beautiful thing is, I can sometimes work a 10-hour day, and it's just fun. It really, really is. There's never, ever a moment where I feel like I'm at work. Occasionally I might have a difficult client or cash flow might be tight, but it's wonderful. I really, really love it and wouldn't trade it for anything in the world.
Now, on behalf of the Collegiate Entrepreneurs Organization, I want to thank you for coming to speak at the upcoming 2013 CEO National Conference in Chicago. What will you be speaking about?
I'm going to be doing a workshop for Pitch Jam on networking and building relationships. And, Michael, thank you for asking me about that. I'm super excited about this workshop because, A, I believe that relationships are the secret to success, whether we realize that or not. And I know a lot of college students who, even if they're outgoing, don't really understand the full value of building relationships. We're also in a day and age of the internet and social media where many people think that you can build a relationship through, just chatting with someone on Twitter or connecting with them via email. But I'm very old school, big believer in face-to-face meetings and people really knowing who you are. One of the highlights of my career has been the fact that whenever I go to a different city, I've got different groups of people that I can hang out with and have meals with. And I think that's truly a blessing, something I'm very grateful for, but it's really led to a lot more business and just a lot more friends. And that's really, really important. And in this competitive marketplace, whether it's for a job or, starting a new business, I believe that these young entrepreneurs need to learn about how to develop relationships to help them make more money. So I'm super excited to be there, and I'm even getting to do a drum circle this year at the CEO conference. So I'm excited. I got to bring my drums.
And why are you, I think you kind of explained earlier in our conversation, but why are you passionate about speaking to others about your experience and what you do?
Well, I believe in the American dream. One of my biggest inspirations, Michael, and I know, we have a relationship, but I don't think I've ever shared this with you. I'm inspired by the immigrants who came to this country. I think it's pretty amazing that people came into this country without knowing the language, without knowing anyone, yet they worked very hard, and many of them became not only millionaires, but billionaires. And it's just very inspiring to me. They didn't have Twitter. They didn't have Facebook. They didn't have a blog. They just had to do it, through hard work, through building relationships and taking it one step at a time. And that's really my inspiration. And I believe that entrepreneurs are the secret to success in this economy. And if we can support each other as entrepreneurs, we're going to do wonderful things for the world, It's a wonderful thing, and I just love meeting people and helping them grow in any way I can. So I'm super excited to be there.
What's been the hardest part about working for yourself as an entrepreneur?
Hardest part about working for yourself is that when you have a problem and you want to complain about the problem, you got to go to the boss. And the way you go to the boss is you go in the bathroom and look in the mirror. And it can be really difficult sometimes. And that's really the toughest thing, is that I'm the boss. And sometimes, I don't want to be. I got to make some tough decisions. The other challenge sometimes is, there is the pressure of cash flow because, it's not a predictable thing. It's been consistent for me over time, and I'm very fortunate, but it's something I'm still learning how to manage. And again, if you work at a job, the people that are at the top deal with the cash flow issues. You don't have to experience that yourself. But when you've got to pay your own paycheck and, pay your mortgage or rent, it's a much different thing. So it has its challenges, but honestly, the benefits outweigh the challenges significantly.
And then just the last question here. What's your best piece of advice for a young entrepreneur?
Best piece of advice for a young entrepreneur is don't be a talker, be a doer. I find that a lot of times I hear so many stories about people telling me things they want to do and showing me these business plans, and they can be some real elaborate plans, and they have great pitches and stuff, and that's great. But I'm a big believer in execution. Sometimes I've learned that, when you don't say something to someone, when you don't tell them about your goals or your vision, it's a better thing, because it was a TED Talk that I listened to, and I apologize, I don't remember the person who said it, but when you go around telling people things you want to accomplish, it actually sets off a chemical in your brain that gives you the same satisfaction as though you already accomplished it. And that's why I think a lot of people get really caught up in business planning and just trying different ideas. So I think it's really important to learn to just be a doer. Some of my biggest inspirations in business are little 9-year-olds with a lemonade stand. They're just sitting out there just doing it. There's no overthinking it. They're making actually quicker cash than some of the people I meet in colleges and in the startup world who have business plans, and it's really funny to me. And who do I trust more? The 9-year-old with the lemonade stand, because they're doing it. So I think it's really important to be a doer rather than a dreamer. Although dreams are important and you need to have a vision, a doer is more important. The other thing I always tell people is that people look for the latest idea. We get very obsessed. I think it's kind of sexy to have the latest idea. But one of the best businesses you can ever have that people forget in this country is a business where you have these machines that clean clothes and take quarters. And most people don't realize that it's boring in their heads, but it's a very lucrative business that provides a consistent cash flow. So that's an example of just how I see the world of business.
Yeah, and with technology and apps, that's just furthered the ability for people to come up with ideas that they never intend on or will actually launch.
Yeah, I think it is. And I think there's just something kind of cool about sitting around talking about ideas with people. But, at the end of the day, someone told me a long time ago, get the cash. Just get the cash. Get that first $20 from someone. And I think Seth Godin, marketing guru, talks a lot about it. It's not even having the perfect idea. It's just having it maybe 75% perfect and putting it out there to the world and saying, buy it. And that's what I'm a big believer in. In fact, one of the things I'm going to be bringing up at this conference, the CEO conference, is I'm launching a new division of my website that's dedicated to young entrepreneurs. And I'm going to be pitching it out there to them, saying, hey, you can have me come in and speak at your school if you're interested in having me, and I can help you in different ways. And that's me putting myself out there. I didn't think much about it. It took me maybe 5 minutes to design the business card, and that's all it is. So I think it's important just to be able to just do it.
Well, once again, thank you for coming to speak at the 2013 CEO National Conference, and we look forward to hearing you talk.
Michael, thank you so much, and congratulations on your new baby.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Take care, Mike.